Good morning, everyone. Let's wait. Oh, okay. So good morning and welcome to Sustainable CT Coffee Hour for the month of July. Good to see you all. We are recording this meeting, just so you all know. And as you know, the topic today is kind of like an open forum on questions about certification. The deadline's coming up, August 23rd. And we've got some folks from our team here to kind of field your questions. So it's really very free form and we're eager to hear from you. And we've got fellows also that can chime in. So let's start. It's a small group. Let's just start by having introductions. We'll start with our team. I'm Lynn Stoddard. I'm the Executive Director of Sustainable CT. And I love the coffee hours and like the informal connections with you all. So thanks for making time for it and being here today. Let's see, I'll pass it on to Torin from our team.
Thanks, Lynn. Hey, folks. I'm Torin Radicioni. I am Sustainable CT's website manager, so happy to answer any last-minute questions you guys will be having about the website. Mary?
Hi, I'm Mary Dickerson. I'm the certification program manager here at Sustainable CT, and we have a great group of our fellows joining us, and some of you I've already been working with as we approach certification on August 23rd. So it's great to have you all here.
All right, yeah, so I'm just
I'll go next. I'm Sharon Hutner. I'm on the Brantford Clean Energy Committee and working on the Sustainable Connecticut application, and I have a lot of questions.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sharon. Who else wants to chime in? Actually, why don't we do this? Sharon, pick another name and just read it from someone's photo and we'll just popcorn around.
Okay, just going in order here. Serena.
Hi, everyone. My name is Serena. I'm the Sustainable CT Fellow for the Northwest Hills COG region. And very excited to be here today and learn more about the certification process. Oh, and I'll pass it to Adrian.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Adrian Huq, and I'm a Sustainable CT Fellow stationed at Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments, and excited to see you all this morning. And I'll pass it to Lily.
Hi, I'm also one of the fellows, and I'm with WestCog. I'm excited to hear some of the questions that people have today, and I can pass it off to Stephanie. Not quite sure how to pronounce your last name.
Don't worry about it. Stephanie Bahramian. I'm with the town of Bloomfield. I'm the environmental planner. I'm sorry, pass it on to, I'm sorry, I've been trying to finish an email. Did Ben go yet?
Nope.
I'm Ben. I'm not anything. I was more just curious to see what y'all do. So I wanted to join this call and I can pass it to Ted.
Ben, what town? Do you live in Connecticut?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I live in Norwalk, Connecticut.
Norwalk. Great. Okay.
Hi, my name is Ted Chesnes. I'm an planning intern for the town of Marlborough, and I'm kind of here just to see what people are asking, and maybe I can springboard off of some questions if I see something that piques my interest. So.
Excellent. You want to popcorn it to someone else, Ted?
Oh, my bad. Let's see, who hasn't gone yet?
I guess William and Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle, go.
So Michelle, are you there? Can you unmute and introduce yourself?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm with the city of Norwalk.
Are you staff in Norwalk? What's your position?
I'm staff. I'm the senior planner, and I'm charged with kind of facilitating the Sustainable CT application for the city. So we're working on our silver.
Excellent.
Great. I guess William.
Excellent. Only people I owe money to call me William. I usually go by Bill, and I am the Director of Economic and Community Development for the town of Monroe. And I've been charged with getting the Sustainable CT certification for the town. So we have a team here comprised of the Director of Health, the Director of Public Works, and our town planner, along with myself, that have gone through your 13 chapters and subchapters to identify projects we've already completed or in the midst of completing. But I do not believe that the team will be ready for certification for the 23rd of August. I believe we'll probably submit for certification in the spring. But as we ramp up for that and document all of the things that we've done, I figured it's a good call to sit in on, see what all the questions are. I have questions about a lot of it, of what qualifies, what doesn't qualify. But I don't want to dominate the meeting, so I'll listen to everybody else and then I'll chime in where I need to. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Bill.
So thank you so much, everyone. Just a really high level, you're familiar with Sustainable CT, that we've got these 12 categories of action plus innovation. We offer 2 certification cycles a year, one in April and one in late August. Often towns will submit, especially in the spring, knowing they haven't achieved the point threshold yet or done one thing in every category, but they're just looking for formal feedback on how to improve their applications. You can also do that in August. So there's that. This year, we launched a pilot climate leaders designation that rides on top of certification. So you're actually submitting for actions from the roadmap. We've tagged some of them as having high greenhouse gas impact. If you actually achieve your certification that embraces a certain number of climate actions points, then you are designated as a climate leader. So we're looking forward to seeing our first applications for a climate leader in August. Let's see, this year we are, as you probably know, we've been running for 4 years. We've had bronze and silver certification levels. In 2023, there will be an opportunity for gold certification. We're going to be unveiling the criteria for gold probably in the fall, November, by November anyway. So that's for next year. And throughout the year, we provide lots of support to help towns with implementation of the actions and just kind of the logistics, you know, of submitting things or being aware of opportunities. One such support is our fellows who are here for the whole summer. Fantastic resources. You're meeting some of them today. They introduce themselves. They're here, again, it's a summer program where they're here pretty much full-time and embedded in the Council of Governments. Our staff support, Mary is our certification program lead. All of us are available to answer questions. At any time, you can easily reach any of us at info@sustainableCT.org with a question about anything, and that kind of goes to all staff and we'll direct it accordingly, and we usually answer those questions within under 24 hours or as quickly as we possibly can. We have a lot of what we call no-cost assistance programs, which are essentially free consulting from our partners to achieve points towards certification. So an example is a community resilience building workshop, which is one of our actions, is run by the Nature Conservancy. You simply need to get the people in the room from your town to give input and go through that half-day exercise and workshop. And then effectively, you'll get everything you need to have documented completion of that action and some prioritization of things that you're looking at in the vulnerability of your town. We have other examples of no-cost assistance on free energy benchmarking in Portfolio Manager, and so on. So we can talk about any of those you're interested in. We can also share the website as questions come up to show you how and where to find information. But I think we'll leave it at that with an overview of kind of, yeah, the high level overview, and just open it up for what you got. Who wants to start?
I do.
Go ahead, Sharon.
As I said, I'm in Brantford, and we have done a lot of things. And so my question probably is really for the website tech person. I'm having a hard time uploading the documents from the town's website into the application. And so I need more instruction about how to do that.
Sharon, that's a wonderful question. Might I ask, how big are the size of those documents? Because there are issues where you do upload documents and the size of the document will lead to an error message.
No, I can't even get, I even need, like, let's just assume it's a small document. So I just need to know the steps.
Okay.
To go about, you know, the sequence of how to do that. What I've been doing now is I've just been putting in the website information, so that the web address, so that people can access those pages from the application. But my feeling is that we probably, well, I don't know, is that good enough? Or do we have to actually have the document uploaded within the application to get credit?
Mary, would you like me to take this one?
So Sharon, a lot of the actions require the document to be there. We have a group of professional volunteers who are professionals in each of those specialty areas of our action framework that review all of these submissions. So it takes a long time for them to have to go to a website and pull a document or look at a page from a POCD. So we ask that if it's something like a reference in a POCD, that you take that page and either upload it or you give the specific page number and then put the link to the POCD. But there will be times when you're going to have to upload documents like our worksheets. So for many actions, there's required worksheets, and those have to be uploaded so that our reviewer can look and compare the worksheets from each of the towns that have submitted. So you have to upload documents for most of our actions. They may not be big, but all of our worksheets will require uploading. Some of our actions, like our brownfield action, require that you upload a photo of a completed brownfield project. So you really have to know how to do it. Okay. I'll let Torin, I know that we went over it before, and we can send you a link to that coffee hour where we did go through it, but do you feel comfortable just running through that quickly now, Torin?
Well, how about just in the interest of time and the mechanics of uploading, do other people have questions on uploading documents? Do we want to spend our time that way, which is fine? Or we can do a one-on-one with Sharon, easily, a fellow or Torin, and just kind of help her hands-on. So if you would like us to spend some time on that right now, raise your hand or let us know somehow.
I'd like to talk about the website. I've sent, and maybe what I need to do is a one-on-one with Torin. I sent a lot of things about the website that are problematic and could be easily or not so easily fixed, that would make it easier for us. And I understand, Mary, that we're dealing with a lot of people that need to look and review these, and they have time constraints. But I think this is really a question of how much time we have to put in order to get there, and the balance between them. In a sense, I think that the putting in of information should be the easiest it can be on our side of the equation, because we have to do the work and not just put in, spend so much time on inputting information, but really go and do the work that is needed. And the way that the website is at this point is that it makes it extremely time consuming to do that. And I think that is something that should be addressed, maybe not for this, for August, but I really would like maybe a whole coffee hour session about that, about how we can balance the needs of the towns of the different sizes versus the needs of the people who are going to be evaluating those things.
Amalia, that's really helpful. What town are you from, by the way? We did introductions before you hopped on.
Okay, yeah, I had technical problems. East Haddam, we're a very small town.
Okay, great. Welcome. Yes. Okay, so point made, we want you doing the stuff that's moving the needle on sustainability rather than you know, the stuff on the spending a lot of time on submission. It's a good idea. We'll take it. Yeah, we'll maybe do a deeper dive on that. In the meantime, it is something that the reason we bring on the fellows and the timing in the summer right before August submission is that they are whizzes at that and are doing it with multiple towns so they can help you. I understand that you want to see a bigger fix on the whole.
No, I worked with a fellow yesterday. There's one fellow for all in Rivercog. He does not have time for me.
Okay.
And
so we can also do some management of a fellow that may have a little extra time or someone from our team. And so Mary's kind of helping shuffle that workload.
Yeah, we do. We move our resources around, Amalia. So if Liam doesn't have time, then we have other fellows that when they have time within their schedule, we shuffle them to other COGs. So he has other resources, you know, that can help him out with his RiverCog responsibilities.
okay, it's just we managed one in a whole day.
Okay. Yeah, so we will, on our team, through a fellow or one of us, make some time to help you as well as Sharon. Stephanie, you had your hand up.
Yes, I think I have a quick question, but I did want to respond that actually, you know, my strength isn't the administrative part and uploading stuff. So I have used fellows the last 2 summers to help with this kind of stuff. And the fellows I was given also very busy, but then they communicated with a fellow who isn't very busy, who is helping me. So I think it's also just preparing things so it's really succinct so that we're helping that fellow do stuff that's very concrete, so it's very streamlined, and then each week. So yeah, it is a logistical thing. I understand about the whole website thing as well. The questions I have are, so for climate leader designation, this is a new program, this pilot program. So what if some of the tasks we did, we got the credit for it in our certification, say 3 years ago in our case in 2019, that now expires. We can't get credit again because we already got credit for it. It's not a rolling credit. But how do we then, so we can't do it again. So for example, pass a CPACE resolution. If we did this already, I think so. So the climate leader designation, does that work a little bit differently from the certification for bronze, silver, etc.? So we have the pass a CPACE resolution. We have the hosting an EVSE for public use. I think there's another one as well. These one-time things, but expire. So is there a way for us to get those points for the climate leader designation, but not have those points for our certification that we're going for this August, which is really a brand new, we're starting brand new.
Yeah, you're starting over this. Now, Jess Leclerc sent out a summary to towns. Did you receive your summary?
I don't believe I saw that, no.
Okay, so I will have Jess send you a summary. What she's been doing, Stephanie, for towns that are interested in the climate leader designation is looking at their existing certification and determining what is eligible and what is still valid. And so that would help you to narrow down, and then you can just include those previously certified actions on your climate leader worksheet. And that will narrow down considerably. For the CPACE resolution, Lynn, you were part of the climate leader sort of program design. A lot of towns passed CPACE many years ago. They were some of the first towns to get involved. I think that once you've passed the CPACE resolution, it's going to count because we want you to pass CPACE. We want you to participate. I don't know when you passed your resolution, but as long as you're still a participating community, I think that we can count that participation.
Yeah, I'm actually, it's complicated, Stephanie, and I'm actually like reading it right now. So 2.6.1 has sellable for new credit action only. So unless we revise it, it wouldn't be. And that's a valid point, Stephanie, that you did it at one point. So your point that Climate Leaders is a pilot is these are the kinds of things we want to learn. And we will be having an opportunity for input on the whole Climate Leaders design and the pilot and how, you know, as we expand it for next year. So we would love to hear more, and we will have targeted sessions on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'm suggesting here is, for example, those things are one-shot deals that you actually give the credit for that designation, but if it's expired for the certification, have it expire. So yes, we shouldn't get credit again for our certification, but so sort of treat them differently, if you will, for that qualifying process. And like I said, there are a couple of them. I think any resolutions, these things that are one-shot deals, I think that it doesn't really matter when they were done. If the towns have taken the time over the even 5 years, 10 years to have done them, they have shown leadership. So it's just, that's just my suggestion of, yeah.
Yeah, that's great input.
Thank you.
Who else?
Actually, I do have one more if nobody else wants to go. It's I don't see anything for interior lighting. It looks like we are changing out the interior lighting to have energy efficiency, you know, LEDs and everything. I did ask about the exterior lighting, and the town has its own minimums for, I mean, we put everything under the safety umbrella, which really, I think they need to revisit. But then the qualification for the credit was the lowest wattage. So let's say the lowest wattage is 2700, but the town requires 4000. Then the town's going to go with the 4000, but we're not going to be able to get credit because the lowest wattage available with technology is 2700. For example, I don't know what the numbers exactly are, but somewhere around that. How do we navigate those conflicting so you know, so the town is actually making the effort to reduce the energy consumption, but if they're caught within their own.
Yeah, so basically the standards on lighting, we kind of align with what the Energize CT program has set for thresholds, because like the expertise in standards for outdoor lighting, if your town has for whatever safety reasons or perception of safety reasons a higher lighting requirement, then it just wouldn't be eligible from what we state in the action there for exterior.
Maybe this is where we need to have them reevaluate, have the town reevaluate if this is a recommendation from Energize CT, you know, is that enough of a consideration for the town to reevaluate it?
Well, actually, I'm looking at it. Convert municipally owned exterior lighting to LEDs. That's not a very strong threshold. That's not a. It's not a number. It just says to LEDs.
I seem to remember going over that with our fellow about the lowest.
Okay, that's street lighting. Now, That's, yeah, we are not going to make calls on that. That's set by safety standards, efficiency standards, balancing, all that. So I don't know that if you own your street lighting, I don't even know if you can have different standards because, yeah. But if you're talking about fields and stuff, it simply 7.6.3 simply says LEDs, which is not a high bar.
Okay. Okay. We'll look at that again. Thank you.
So am I to understand that I should, you're going to send me a link to the coffee hour that discussed the uploading, and I should also set up a one-to-one with Torin?
Yeah, put your email, Sharon. You can send it to me if you don't want to put
Okay.
it in there publicly.
Oh, I don't mind putting it in there.
Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll send you a link to the coffee hour we had where we went over the website. And then we can reach out directly to set up some time to go through one-on-one with you, uploading actions. Have you also worked with the fellow in your region?
Yeah, Adrian?
Adrian, yep.
Yeah, he suggested that I take a screenshot, but like some of these documents are really, really large, so that didn't work.
Now, are you getting error messages or is it just making you re-enter the website again and you're
No,
not able to upload?
I just can't get it to communicate with the town's website.
Okay.
May I suggest that you
Like
probably,
where it says choose file,
Yep.
you know, and then if I click on the web address of the document in the town's website, it won't
may I
select it.
suggest that you download the file to your computer and then upload it?
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's the way that it will work. Basically, you have to upload files. You can't
So
just.
I have to put everything into my computer.
You put it into the download. Yeah, that's the way you have to
okay.
do it.
All right, I'll try that and see if that works. Thank you.
So what we could also do is let's see how, yeah, other questions from people, and some of us perhaps could stay on and walk you through it at the end or after this, a fellow
Okay.
or Torin or someone, so that you're, yeah, really getting at helping you.
That would be an interesting addition. Instead of having to upload files, that we would be able to just put a link to something so that the people can look at the link instead of look at a file.
Yeah, that's a great idea, man. I'll look into it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I will definitely try and look into that for Amelia for sure.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I do have another question. You know, I've been putting in information and then I click to see if there's comments. So, and there hasn't been any feedback. So I'm just wondering how long it takes to get information back. And a lot of what has already been commented is from 2020.
So Sharon, the process is that all of the applications have to be submitted by August 23rd. Then you click submit and that locks the application. And then that's when the review process starts. So we don't continually review. If you have questions, you can email staff and we'll answer specific questions about a process or making sure that you're interpreting the action correctly. But the review only happens twice a year. So there's a spring review, which has a submission date in April, and a fall review that has a submission date in August. And then what will happen is each of the actions will be reviewed. And at some point, it'll be October, you will get a full Excel spreadsheet back that'll give you each of the actions, the points you submitted and requested for, and how many points were awarded. And then you'll get some very detailed feedback from our reviewers that will tell you what you're doing right, how you can correct something if you didn't get the full points. And so that will come over a period of time, but we don't do review as things are uploaded.
Oh, okay, that's good information. Thank you.
Yeah, and reach out. You can email me. You can email info@sustainablect.org anytime if you have a question about uploading or an interpretation of an action. If you want to make sure you're interpreting it correctly and providing the correct information, email us. And that's what our fellows will do for you as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question, but I have to put my battery on. So I have a question about homelessness.
Yep.
So I understand this is I have two questions. One is about the homelessness category. We don't have homelessness here. Or if we do, we have maybe 2 cases a year, but we do have people that are in dire straits, either and so it's kind of difficult to figure out how to do that, that category, if it was expanded to things that are like, we have a diaper bank and people that need help with toilet paper, getting toilet paper and stuff like that. But so how, and I know that this is something that has to do with being a small community rather than a larger community. Could we work, how can we do the homelessness?
So Amalia, for those that are on that, Amalia is referring to our category 12 actions, which deal with homelessness. And those were developed with the support of agencies across the state that work with people who are at risk for homelessness or who are experiencing homelessness. And so the action really has 3 parts. The first is that a town assign a person within the municipality, within the government, that would be responsible for coordinating actions and outreach. We ask that you work with your coordinated access network, and that is really to make sure that the town is in touch with the resources that are available. Often those phone calls that we don't get go to 211. So people that are concerned about their housing situation or are experiencing homelessness won't call the local town where they live. They may not have the knowledge of resources that are available, or they may be embarrassed to have to talk to people that they know. So they'll call a statewide number, and those coordinated access networks will deal with the person when they call. They'll put them in touch. So we try to get towns to work with, we call them a CAN, a coordinated access network, and that is the regional services. So your town would fall, I believe you're in the Middletown region as well. Middletown will help you through those questions. Then you collect and share homelessness data. So that isn't going out and interviewing people or getting names of people. It's working with your coordinated access network representatives, and they provide that information to you from contacts that they had. And that information will come anonymously. It's not connected to any names, but it's information to let you know the type of problems in the community. I think too often we think of homelessness as the people that we see on the streets, but there's a lot of people who are in home sharing situations that are staying with a friend. People call it couch surfing. You're staying with somebody, they're at risk because that is not a legal situation. They have no legal right to that shelter. So it's deeper than just the people that we can see. But the goal of the actions is really for the community to be prepared to help, putting things on your website, making sure the information is available, designating and training a worker so that they're aware of the resources that are available and they're sensitive to the people's situation and can help them with just what you're talking about, the kind of resources that they need. So it's really a preparatory action, Amalia. And although East Haddam doesn't have a problem now, putting these actions into place, make sure that if someone does have an issue, the town is ready to direct them to the proper resources and help them. So I can send you some contact information for your coordinated access network, and we work very closely. Okay, and so Ryan Beach at CCEH can help you connect with them.
Okay, so that's question number one. Question number two is, I know that the town, the town is the organization that is getting certified, but in a small town like ours, with with people who don't want to raise taxes, and with everyone working way beyond their capacity, a lot of things are done by organizations that are not funded or not even connected to the municipality, but are doing the functions that in larger towns would be under the municipal umbrella. And let's say our historical society does a lot of work. They are not funded by the town. They do their own advertising, and they use our local paper that was created in order so that we don't have to pay the Hartford Courant double prices. We created a newspaper, but it's not a town newspaper, but we just it's really funded by the town, by the notices that of anything that is official. So how can that be put into place so that the community gets certified rather than the municipality?
Well, so the municipality will always be the certifying agency. It's always going to be the municipality that's certified, but they can't get certified without that work done by volunteers and by other groups within the community. We had a question this week about a town in Connecticut that has a library that functions as their public library, yet it's a private association run by a board of directors with private money. And so you go to things like the POCD, and your town plan of conservation and development will show those partnerships, because they'll assign duties and functions to different agencies and charitable groups within your town, because the town government is too small to support those. So we can't award certification to a private entity. We can only award it to the municipality, but we fully understand the roles of those volunteers and those agencies. And we're finding a lot more that the towns are really designating those partnerships within their POCD.
So it's really, in order to get the credit, it has to be designated in the POCD that this entity is doing this and this entity is doing that.
That's a quick way, Amalia, to find out if it's been designated. And for volunteers, it's much easier to go through that document and be able to show within the POCD that it's there. But if your town government I know you have a lot of your youth services agency as separate from the town. So if the town designates them as a partner, then we can count that for credit. So it just requires a partnership on the part of the town.
We have a partnership guidance document, because this is an awesome question, Amalia, and it does come up, and we are evolving how we review that the town, we call it quote unquote, has skin in the game when a very important community organization is doing the work. So this is what we balance. On the extreme, I live in the town of Mansfield. Mansfield should not get credit for things UConn is doing. That's clear. East Haddam, your historical society, yeah, you probably should. And we want to see some kind of partnership. So that group's designated in the POCD or another plan that's approved. Maybe you have some kind of preservation of historic resources plan or policy that nods to that partnership. And so we are making some fine tuning of the partnership document, and maybe Torin can put the link in the chat of that guidance. just so that as we learn these things, how does that look in different towns, that we can make sure we are embracing it, and that there's some, there's kind of some coordination with the town. It's not a total thing.
but I'm saying that not always, it's not always the town's direction. It's sometimes the organization itself wants to keep its autonomy and, you know, and not have partnership with the municipality, but it's still doing the job in a sense, or that the advertisement or the relationship, you know, we have the Historical Society is not on the website, but they have a whole case of their advertising in our municipal building as a permanent fixture, but that is not something that is in your, in a sense, there's not enough flexibility of what is appropriate to meet a place like East Haddam.
Yeah, so give us those examples so we can help address that. I would say if they have a display case in the town hall, that is the town providing some space for recognition of the work they're doing. That would count as a partnership. So we can begin to integrate those examples, because that's what we want to know to clarify this.
Okay.
So that's great. Ted, thanks for your patience. What you
Totally
got?
Okay. Just kind of springboarding off of what Amalia said, would anybody happen to know off the top of their head what Marlboro's coordinated access network would be?
I can put the link in the chat for you.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
You know, just building on the homelessness, that's a new category for us. And one of the things we're trying to do is expand the way we all look at what makes our communities great places to live. So acknowledging that homelessness exists, and as Mary said, it's not maybe your first vision of what does that look like, but that there are many ways of people sleeping on couches, or, you know, kind of for a period of time not having quality housing or whatever. And we have found that by putting it in the roadmap with these opportunities to dip your toes in the water, like all you have to do is send someone to training, designate a person in your town who will go to training and learn about it, that then the town says, aha, we didn't realize that that is something that members of our community are experiencing that we didn't even know about. So yeah, it's been a really interesting journey for us, especially with that category of bringing it in, and all of us learning more about something that, you know, maybe at first blush we thought doesn't apply.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a junior at UAlbany, and just seeing the number of different ways somebody can be homeless, whether it's physical, like physically, I don't have a house, or it's just like sleeping at someone else's place because you don't have a place to stay. It's been a lot.
Yeah. You know, we did up a webinar on kind of sharing how does homelessness look in the different ways, and we did that over a year ago. We should maybe run that one again and have also, you know, towns sharing stories of how they've learned that it looks. It seems like during the introductions, let's see, Bill, you said you had some questions and you were going to let others. Now we got a little pause, so I'm inviting you in because you implied you had some questions.
I did. I had questions on the homelessness piece. I had questions on the uploading components. I have questions across the board, but I think that the resources that you've provided will give me some sort of insight into most of those, so that I can whittle down my questions to be very specific and make the best use of folks' time. There was a note in my in my packet that I had made about a mentor. I could either become a mentor or seek mentorship through this, and that was eligible for points. Is there a list of approved towns or approved people for whom I could reach out to seek mentorship from them?
So what we can do is we can connect you to others who have similar, I'll say similar size towns and similar actions to you. And so our towns, our volunteers and our municipal staff are very supportive of the program, and we can make those connections for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a prescribed list. We leave it open to whatever town, yeah, feels like there's opportunities to share on a particular action.
I have a couple more questions, as I said. One of them is connecting to the mentorship, where I have on our team someone who's from Bristol. So that's just because Mary, you just said that it has to be of a similar size, but he's been mentoring us all along because he's done this process and is part of our team. Also, he works in Bristol. I just want to, and we were going to use his mentorship for that on both things. I just want to make sure that that's okay.
Yeah, it is. And David is a great mentor. I'm not saying that they have to be identical, but it helps to have a match that has a similar size and similar staffing and similar volunteers, because they understand the challenges. It'd be very hard for a city like Bridgeport with big municipal staff to understand how Cornwall is doing their application when their town hall is only open part-time. So we try to match towns that have as many similarities as we can.
Thank you. And the last question is I think I've asked it before, but one of the reasons there's such a rush now to get this done by August 23rd is that Jess has said to our group, it's going to be much harder next year. So is it going to be much harder next year, or should we just calm down? And in a sense, is there a reason that I have to stress for August 23rd?
So I would love to respond to that. This is a program about connecting with people in your community and improving your community according to the shared vision you all have. We want you to take time and focus on that process. So I would say, by all means, take your time, because it's about those connections and that learning and that group thinking and that building of relationships. Yes, we set this up as a point thing to incentivize and kind of like gamify it, but we're really about connecting community. And that's not something that you force on like a 3-month deadline. To the question of will it get harder, bronze and silver levels, there will be some program changes, and we haven't defined exactly what they look like. It will not be inordinately harder, and if you have an extra year, I don't think the relatively of the harderness is going to be commensurate with like the extra time you'll have. We are making more challenging opportunities, like gold will be very challenging, but that's not where you start. And Climate Leaders is in its pilot year, so that will have both more opportunities for new actions and probably maybe a higher point requirement.
Okay, I've another question. I'm sorry that I'm hogging, but I do have these questions. Basically, we have more than 400 points that are lying around of all the things that we've done in the last 10 years, some rolling credits, some new credits. we have those points. The question is that maybe there could be a level that is, where are you now? Instead of starting with bronze, but where are you now? And in a sense, having, in a sense, collect all the points that are there already. They might be not exactly what you guys have set, but you know, they're a little twisted here, a little twisted there, but collect all those points to get us to that level of, okay, from here we can move forward. And this, and I think that would really be useful, especially in communities that have really worked hard to do all this work already for the last, 20 years.
Well, I would say you can use any certification cycle as an opportunity to get feedback on those 400 points you have, and not, maybe it's, you're not necessarily saying we're going for bronze or silver in August. You're saying, hey, we've done a lot of good stuff. We're going to submit and kind of see where we stand, and we'll get feedback and review. And as a percentage of those 400 points we submit for, or all of them actually get approved, maybe we will achieve certification, or at least we can message to our towns, hey, these are the things we've done. It's not a certification level, but it's, it's kind of like steps along the way to an audit. It could be one helpful thing, but yeah.
Okay.
Who else has got questions?
Well, while we're waiting, I do want to talk about CT Visit. So that's action 4.2.1. And CT Visit is a website that is run by the Connecticut Department of Tourism, and it recently changed its look. And during the period that they were changing the way they looked, the functionality of being able to log in and update your town profile was disabled. So some people that tried to do that action found that they couldn't find the place to use their login information. The website is back up and running. It has a new look, but everything has been restored to the same location. So although the website looks a little different, you would log on to CT Visit, and then you would scroll to the bottom, and the tourism partners words are back. So they're all the way on the bottom on the right-hand side. You would scroll to the bottom, you would click on that tourism partners, and it would open up a new web page. There's a blue ribbon banner on the upper right that has a space for your login. You click on that and it takes you to the login page. And then once you're on the login page, you can either log in, or if you happen to be a new volunteer or you don't have your old password, you can request a new password through that page as well. And then once you log in, it takes you back to the old functionality. You can update photos about your town, you can add businesses, you can add contact information for your town hall and different programs. And they've done a fabulous upgrade, and they have some new algorithms that will not only connect people to what's happening in your community, but if you happen to be a community near a big event, so let's say you're a small southeastern Connecticut town, they just had the Operation Sail come and they had Sail Fest. They would connect activities in Groton to people looking at that Sail Fest, or things that were happening in Waterford, because they were convenient to that big event. So they've really expanded the functionality of CT Visit. It's a lot more user-friendly, it's a lot more dynamic and inviting, and it's going to keep expanding. They're going to be adding other options for different kinds of businesses to add. So it's a great free opportunity for towns to post about what's happening in their community, about tourism opportunities or a local business that support tourism. And I urge you all to try it. And if anyone has questions or a problem getting in, email me and I will send you the directions. And I took some screenshots for how to get in now, but it works exactly the same as before. The colors and the photos are a little different, but all the information is still there.
Thanks, Mary. Anyone else have questions? Anything? While we're waiting for more, I'm going to invite the fellows who've been listening. Just if any of you have any observation, tips, because obviously you're doing this work hands-on every day with all our towns, and we're so appreciative of your work. So if any of you want to chime in, not necessarily with a question, but yeah, some like tips or advice.
Yeah, I can chime in. So definitely in the towns that I'm working with in the NVCOG region, and I heard some of you today mention that, the August 23rd deadline is approaching quickly and you're not sure if your town can make that deadline. Something that I did with some towns I worked with last year, I always encourage them, like, if you do want to like submit some actions for feedback, you're welcome to. And I think that is helpful. So, you do have the process of, uploading it and, putting in your documentation by August for whatever actions you can get done, and you'll still get feedback on those in the fall. And so even though the submission process is a little different, you won't hit the submit button, you'll email info@sustainablect.org, like, hi, we're going to submit for feedback. I think that's really valuable because you will know from there if you need to revise that action, or, if your points are locked in. And so if you submitted like 4 actions or something and you got 40 points, then, next year you might be more prepared to, know how much you have to go to get to 200. So even if, you can't submit fully for bronze or silver or recertification, I would recommend, submitting what you have if you want to get feedback on that, and have something, that you can put in your portal.
Excellent. Thanks, Adrian.
Yeah, I would second that. A lot of the towns in the Northwest Hills COG are shooting for spring 2023 certification, but we're working now on just submitting some actions for review to make sure that they're okay. And I think it's been a lot better of an approach because it means they don't feel rushed necessarily, and they're able to really be intentional about it.
Excellent. Hi, Leo. I see your video. Did you want to say something?
There's a phone ringing, but I was just going to second that. I feel like I think the most helpful thing for towns I've talked to, just being able to continuously check over their formats, make sure it's all up to date, and then also even for in Rivercog, there's some towns that now are just looking to push back to 2023 in the spring, but it's still useful to have that info now, just so you have it going in for next certification.
I can also kind of echo those similar sentiments. I think that it's important to kind of have the right amount of time to dedicate to everything, especially with some things that may take a little bit longer, like the equity toolkit. So just making sure that your town is valuing the process, not just the finished product of getting certified. And so if it takes a little bit more time, that's great that towns are still making progress and working towards the ultimate goal.
Great tips from our awesome fellows cohort. What else would be helpful today?
Yeah, again, if no one asks questions, I understand that as Liam, that there's a possibility of using underutilized fellows if you don't have time. So if that is possible, if any of the fellows here has a little bit of time, I could use your help in the coming weeks.
And I can coordinate that for you too, Amalia. I can contact a couple of our fellows. If I have your permission, I'll send them your email address and have them reach out, and they can coordinate some times to come and work with you.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Torin, not to put you on this spot, but as we get towards August 23rd, there is all of a sudden a rush and a lot of bandwidth on our website. So any helpful tips of like uploading as much as you can now before the night before the deadline? What do you have to say about that, T?
Yes, I would say start sooner than later. I would keep in mind the size of your documents. And if you have documents that are totaling over 20 megabits, so that's usually any kind of planning document that's over hundreds of pages long with pictures, I recommend submitting a very small Word document with a couple sentences about what you're submitting and a link to it. So it remains functional within our website and it's stored somewhere. Also too, I put my email once in the chat, but I will put it in again. I highly employ anybody that is having any issues in terms of bugs with the website to reach out to me now. I won't know unless I hear about them. But more specifically, if you do have any issues, I would need to know specifics as in the actions you're editing, the specific sections you're editing. And if you're uploading a document, sending me either what that document is or a copy of that document would also be helpful as well. I'm a website manager, but I'm not a web developer. So I have people above me that kind of oversee the entire framework of the website. And when we have issues like that, I generally need to reach out to them. So thank you.
All right, so consider this an ongoing conversation. We're available. We like to be responsive to all these comments on program design and usability. And sometimes it may take a new cycle to integrate some of these bigger structural changes to make it more user-friendly or clarify the municipal community organization partnership opportunities and things like that. So all this feedback is hugely helpful. We like to say sustainable CT is by towns, for towns, and we really hold to that. So we consider it a program co-created by all of you, and it's not valuable unless your voice is there and we're responding to your needs. So please keep that coming and hold us to it. All right, thank you, everyone. This has been great. We really appreciate all your time and your great work in making your communities and our state a better place to live.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Getting the feedback. Thank you.